Hey guys, Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. I've got a good one for you here. We're going to talk about some people who have had tremendous success in life and what makes them different than you and I think you're going to be blown away by this. We've made some discoveries that are pretty remarkable. And as we all are trying to achieve better things in life, we run into obstacles, and most of them are up here. I want to talk to you, first of all, a story about a little boy. A little boy, his name was Howard. And Howard, he grew up in poverty. In fact, he lived in a one-bedroom apartment with his parents as a very young boy in the projects. And his dad was an ex-military Army vet, actually, and he would drive trucks and do odd, low-paying jobs because he didn't have a particular education or skill set. And one day, his dad was delivering diapers, of all things, in the snow, and he slipped. And when he slipped, he fell, and when he fell, he broke his foot. And when he broke his foot, he couldn't work, and when he couldn't work, he got fired. And so there he was, dad laying on the sofa, no medical insurance, no money, and little Howard went through a lot of stress, and he saw firsthand what poverty was doing to his family. And he used to go out in the stairwell in the outside of his apartment and just sit and daydream about what life would be in a world of abundance. Right. Well, Howard went on to go through school. He big kid, and he ended up being pretty athletic. They offered him a scholarship to play football, but the interesting thing was that Howard declined the scholarship. He didn't want to play football. He wanted to focus on his interests, and so he majored in communications and business, and worked his way odd jobs. Even sold blood as he got his way through college. Well, he got out of college, and I think he was working at a ski lodge for a little bit. He was trying some different sales jobs. And there was a little coffee shop that sold the whole coffee beans there where he lived. And there were three owners. They were all partners. And it was struggling along, and he wanted to get in there and work for them. And he did. He got in there, so he's wanting to sell these coffee beans. Well, he went over to Italy on a business trip. And he steps into a coffee shop, and he was blown away. The experience there was different. And when you sat down, the owners knew everybody's name. They would call them out by name. And the way that they would dress up the coffee in such a way, had the broth and the creaminess, and they would do little patterns and stuff like that. And he thought to himself, this is great. So he goes back and he tells the three bosses, we got to make a change. Let's do this, let's do that. And of course, they thought he was nuts. And so, long story short, he decided that he was going to start his own little coffee shop. But he didn't have any money. So he went to ask for investors. He went to 242 people and got 213-ish no's. Or maybe it was a little bit more than that. He got way more no's than he got yeses. Well, he started pulling the money together, and he had this Italian name in mind when that other business that he used to work for went bankrupt. And so what he did was he went in and he got it for a song, and the name of that little old coffee shop was called Starbucks. So this young man, he took that business, he rebranded it, he changed the atmosphere. You remember those Italians, and if you've ever been to Starbucks, you know when you're going to hear your name called by the staff because they ask for a name that they can call, and they'll write it on your cup, right? Pretty interesting stuff, right? So that was the story. I mean, was he worth $100 million now? But here's the point. He came out of adversity. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And if you'll start to look at some of these examples here, let me do a little swap here. Move myself out of the way. So here's Albert Einstein. Nobody thought he would make anything of himself. Nobody wanted to hire him. They thought he was a dud, and he went on to do huge things. And he is probably the most famous scientist in modern day. Look at Jim Carrey. He dropped out of school when he was 15. I mean, he went through a period where he was homeless. He was living out of a van and went on and had that drive. This young lady here, I forget her name, let's see here, Hamilton, she lost her arm to a shark attack at age 13. And what, but a couple months later, she's back on the board. You know, she really got famous. Ben Franklin was only allowed, his parents could only afford for him to study till age 10, and he just overcome that. The names go on and on and on. Stephen King almost didn't publish his first book, Carrie, which was a classic when we were kids watching it in the movie theater. Oprah Winfrey I think she had a baby when she was how old? 14, and overcame a lot of things. A lot of people, Thomas Edison, how many light bulbs failed before he got one that worked? Remember that? So the list goes on, and there's some really good examples for us in you look here at Roosevelt. Roosevelt, at the age of 39, I think it was, 39, he got polio and he was paralyzed from the waist down. He went on to be the president 4 times. Times were different back then. But look at all the people who do great things, and so many of them come out of adversity. And I remember somebody very close to me who was going to start his own business. It was not heating and air, but he had everything. He was perfect for it. And he was complaining because he didn't have that story that the other ones out there did. You know, what he got was more natural, and he didn't feel qualified to teach those who didn't have that natural, the natural genetics. It was a physical type thing. But the point is, when you come out of great adversity, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That is true. And so many of people who went through difficult times early on, it rewired their thinking, it rewired their drive, and a new pain was installed that was so powerful that they were afraid of that, and it pushed them past other minor fears that you and I get hung up on right on into success. The bottom line is we're all wired a little differently based on the experience that we had coming up. So the question is, what's more powerful? Coming from pain and moving towards success, or knowing your passion and having a love for something and making it the best? Okay? Most of us reside somewhere in the middle, and we see the world through limitation and excuses. This is why self-work is very important. It's very powerful. What is your mental block, your mental limitation that only exists up here? It really needs to be about you. It really does. Gene Simmons, I was listening to him the other day. He was talking about rock and roll and staying true to who you are, and these different bands that would come and go because they're trying to be like others. And he said, "To thine self be true." Are you being true to yourself? Look, we do heating and air, but we are business owners. What can you be true to and be passionate about that can push you through the self-imposed limitations, like your competition, the weather, can't find any good people around here? Do you think you can't find any good people around here would stop a Weldon Long? Do you think the weather is just not hot enough or cold enough would stop a Gary Alex? You see what I'm saying? These guys, they have something deeper. You know, Weldon Long had his story. It's awesome. You know, Gary and I go way back from our Linux days. He's a tremendous mind. Love Gary. Love his mind specifically. He's brilliant. But you know, do we want to be like them, or do we want to be true to ourselves? You see, greatness comes from something special within you that you can articulate with your brand. And most people get this backwards. They pay somebody to create a cool brand and a cool wrap and a cool logo and a cool slogan, and they wrap it around their identity, and there's an incongruency there. The oars are rowing in different directions, and so the boat's going in circles sometimes. And you can have a measure of success, but I'm talking about true success. So what is success to you? A lot of times we're stuck there in the middle because, this isn't so bad. I don't have it so bad. And you know what? That's okay, under certain circumstances. If what your definition of success is you want to come into a nice sized little company and it's comfortable and it's family, and let the big guys be the big guys. Let the guys that brag on the internet, let them brag on the internet. I'm happy right here because this is who I am and this is what I want to be. But before you can create that, you have to revisit and rediscover what that is. And we'll be talking about more of that coming up. But I hope you enjoyed this coming out of adversity, because all the good stories seem to come out of that and they're very inspiring. But you know what? Greatness comes out of passion too. What can you be passionate around? Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. I'll talk to you on the next one. You guys be safe. Bye-bye.